right, everyone. So as you know, we just had our first move within Spain from Zaragoza to Murcia. So that means we had our first experience getting a second Padrón in another country or another city, sorry.
Yeah.
And so we're just going to talk about what we did for that. We did not have to cancel our Padrón in Zaragoza. We just did the process in Murcia, and that was it. Right, so
They canceled the Padrón for Murcia.
they did it for you, but we didn't have to do it
Yeah.
on our own. So what you do is you go on to the Ayuntamiento, which is the town hall of the city that you're living in, and you can type in like Padrón or Ayuntamiento, Padrón, whatever. So for Murcia, it's murcia.es, and I suggest getting the Google plugin translator so that you can read it in English. But first of all, it took me a series of days to figure out how to use the website because it's not exactly, minimalist.
She figures everything out.
It's
I
not
honestly
minimalist.
don't do anything about all this stuff. She's the one that's been doing everything. So if you think that it's that you can't
That
do
you
it
have to
because
do
it's
it
in,
to speak Spanish, you have to do
Yeah,
it.
you don't,
I do
you know.
speak some Spanish, but it's not like
she
fluent
uses
or anything.
she uses the Google Translator
Yeah.
and she
So
done
on
everything.
there, I found the directions that were in Spanish. I copy paste everything into the translator. If the translator plugin on the website doesn't translate it because it's a PDF, then I copy paste into the Google Translator's website. So what I found out was we had a form that we had to fill out, which is a horizontal form with horizontal lines.
like that.
Yeah, but that's not the
Not
form.
like this.
But that's not the form. You put each family member's name on there. You fill it all out. It's all in Spanish. But again, you can use your translator on your phone if you need to. With the camera option on the translator that they have now, I use that all the time. You have to mark information about yourself, your citizenship. It's the exact same form that was in Zaragoza. So it's probably a uniform form that is used all over Spain now that we've been to 2 regions and they have looked the same. What was different was in Zaragoza there was a form that we could fill out saying that one person could represent the whole family, and all I had to do was sign off for my own name and for both of the kids, and he went in Zaragoza and did it all on his own. In Murcia it says minors have to be present. So we went on a day that my son didn't have school. So if your kids are in regular school and they have regular days during the week, then you'll just have to take a day off of school. For us, because of the school that he goes to, we kind of pick our own schedule, and so we just don't have him going to school on Wednesdays. So that's why we did the appointment on a Wednesday. So we had the form. You have to have a copy of the owner if you're renting a place on your own. That's our situation, so that's what this is going to apply to. Then you need a copy of the D&I front and back of the owner, a copy of your lease signed by everybody, and then go and find the directions for your town hall for filling out the form and what you need to bring. It might be different for every town. So we took our registration form that I mentioned before, where we put all of our names, a copy of the D&I, a copy of our TIE cards, the residency cards, and the actual residency cards. Now, when we got there, because of COVID restrictions, we all went, but only he went in.
Yeah.
And so he's going to share with you what he did. So this is in Murcia. And
The line was short,
Yeah, we got there before our
yeah.
appointment. We
Yeah,
had an appointment, which we had to make online. It was for 11:04. We got there about 15 minutes early and stood in line.
So, they call me in and they're like, "Oh, let me see your appointment." So I showed
We
them
had
the
a
appointment.
printed
Yeah, we had a
page
printed
printed
page
out.
of that. So she looked at it, she verified it on the computer, and then she's like, "Here's your ticket," and it was 164. When I look at the thing, I was like,
Your number was
my number was
164.
164. So there were like 5 people ahead of me. So I sat down for like a minute, and then the next number was mine. I was like, "Oh, that was fast." So I got up and I went to the cubicle where she was at, and I asked her, it's for me and my family, and I said, "Do they need to come in?" She's like, "No, only you." So I said, "Well, we're doing the Padrón and here's the documentation. And she pulled it all out and everything and looked at it. She says, you're missing a signature here. Signed it, and that was it. Then she just, started looking at our IDs, our TI, whatever that
TIE card. It's
TIE
the
cards,
residency
the
card.
residency cards, yeah. So she filled up all the information in the computer, and then she's like, okay, so your family's outside? I'm like, yes. So she's like, let's go see them. So she went, looked at the TIE cards, the residency cards, and she's like, Ashley,
Yeah, I had to take my mask off.
Josiah, Jonas, and
She looked at us and got a visual, this is
Yeah.
who they are, and then she went back in.
Inspection. And then she went back in, and on our way back in there, I asked her, where can I go to update our residency card, with the
The
new
address on our card.
And she told me that it was Gobierno de Murcia Extranjería, which is for...
She wrote down the address for
And
you
she wrote down the
on
address,
a piece of paper,
yeah.
so we know where to go. It's something that's closer to our house.
Mhm.
There's not much information about that part online. That's something that I saw on Facebook when I searched in the groups change address, just to see what I was supposed to do to change the Padrón. And there was a lot of information on there that said I needed to get off of the Padrón first in Zaragoza and then get the new one, and I didn't do that, and we didn't have to do that. So I knew to ask when we got there about updating our address with immigration. Everybody in Spain has to get on a Padrón, but not everybody has to go to immigration to update their address. I'm familiar with that because we had to do that in Mexico too. Anytime we moved, we had to go through immigration to update our address. I've heard that they don't give you a new card necessarily, but you can ask for one so that you have your new address on your new card. We haven't done that part yet, so we'll have to update you on that part later. Trying to think if there's anything else. Another difference with, even though my son was there, they didn't ask about school. In Zaragoza, there's a place on the form that you fill out. There was actually 2 forms we had to fill out, plus the permission for him to represent us in Zaragoza. And there was something on there about schools, asking, I'm sorry that we're being interrupted again, asking about schools if we had kids who were of compulsory age who were in school. That was on there, and we just didn't check it. And we didn't check the thing in Zaragoza. We just ignored it, and he went in and did all the forms for us without any kids, and he didn't get asked about the question of schools or anything.
Nothing.
This time in Murcia, that question was not on the forms, but they require minors to be present, so he was there, and they didn't ask for schools, and there was no information about the schools on the Padrón. I know that that is a point of concern for homeschooling families and people who are moving here who might not want to put their kids in the system. So far, at the consulate or the immigration or at any point in this whole process, we have never been asked about our kid being in school, even though we have had him legally registered in school since September. So I just want to throw that in there for people who are concerned about that. I know there's a lot of people who come, especially from the U.S., who want to actually be able to homeschool and want to know how paranoid do they have to be. So far, even though we have our bases covered, we also haven't been asked.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it was fairly
that's
easy.
it.
Was easy to do it.
We were gone by the time our appointment time came around.
Yeah.
And so we'll update on the updating the address and everything once we get that done. And aside from that, if you have any questions, you can post them in the comment section of the video. And we'll see you later.
She knows everything, so don't ask me.
I'll answer your questions.
Yep. Later, guys.
Bye.